All men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of
If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear.
Make America great again.
The Big Mack.
All right, well, welcome back to the Big Mack Show. Of course, I'm your host, Lance Migliaccio, with my potentially tired co-host,
I'm not
George
tired now.
Johnson. You said you look tired, but you aren't tired. You slept like
I
a
said
baby.
I look tired, but I'm not tired, but I just say I look tired this morning.
You didn't look tired to me. You kind of look semi-refreshed to me. I don't know. Maybe you're seeing something I'm not seeing. I think it's great. Anyway, George and I are grinding it back in the gym. We're pumped up. And of course, this show, it's all about tip of the spear, edge of the knife, you name it. We do everything. We get great interviews. We get interviews from all walks of life. It's a Rogan style show. As you guys are joining us for the first time, you know how we do it. There's a lot of sarcasm, a lot of jokes, and really just straight truth. It's just how we feel about it. We don't blindly support anybody. So everybody's welcome. Conservatives, liberals, nonpartisans, you name it. We're happy that you're all here because you know how this show is. We just want what's best for the country, what's best for you and your families. That is what the story is all about. George B., it's rise and grind, baby. What's up?
What's up is our guest is late right now.
No.
I'm on the lookout for him, see if he pops in. But
Well, let's
usually
hope so.
Sheriff Mack is always prompt, and he's stickler by the book and rules, and usually he's early, so hopefully he's okay. I don't know. Sent an email, text out. We'll see.
Well, I sure hope
Find
so,
out.
And of course, the drill. The best thing you can do to help the show is, number one, if you're new here, watch for a few minutes. If you like what's going on, hit that follow button. Trying to always grow the show. The followers are the most important thing. Then, of course, leaving comments for the show, getting in the chat. God, you guys are shy. There's literally tens of thousands of you coming in to watch the show. That chat should just be on fire. I want to hear about you and your families. I want to hear about weird stuff from around the country. I want you to comment when we try to bring you in. Do it all, man. Get in here. Don't just hang out. Leave a comment. If you think something's fire, give us a thumbs up. You can emoji us to death if you have to. Maybe you're at work and you're trying to be sneaky. Just do it on the sly. Don't let your boss. You can have one earpiece in if you're listening to us on any Spotify, iHeart. And if you are on any of those platforms, please go out and follow us. Share our content on all the podcast platforms because we take the audio from the show, we put it up. And we're trying to grow all that. And of course, we're back on YouTube. They wouldn't give us back our original count of 30,000. So we're trying to build it back up. So please get over to YouTube, hit a follow there, even if you're not watching us on YouTube, even if you're loyal to Rumble. Also, same for locals. All that stuff adds up. It helps us to get new sponsors. It helps us to promote the show. And inevitably, it's all about money, right? Because you need money to run these shows. It's not just about George and I making money. It's the fact that there's lots of overhead that comes
We make
with it.
money when? Where?
Exactly. And if you would like, hit us up at info@thebigmig.com if you want to, of course, sponsor the show. We love our sponsors. George and I, we've got the Crypto Power Hour. That's the #1 crypto show on Rumble. We've got our regular radio show. And of course, we love our gold and silver. And that's the guys over at Genesis Gold Group. If you didn't catch Keith Height's interview on Monday, I strongly recommend you go over there. It's not financial advice. It's just good sound advice. The guy's super knowledgeable. It's the first time we had him on the show. He's the chief operations officer for Genesis Gold. The guy knows the shit. Been in the industry since 2011. So making sure you and your family are safe and protected, it's all what it's all about, right? Because every man wants to be the hero at home, myself included. And that's what the Prepper Bar is all about. Having some gold and silver on hand just in case. This is the 62.2 gram Prepper Bar. It's perforated, as you can see, and very easily broken down, for your choice of three, different denominations. There's a small, a medium, and large. The idea behind this, Genesis Gold Group came up with this because a lot of people wanted a smaller denomination. Genesis thought, okay, we're already carrying the 1 ounce tokens. Let's come up with something that'll fill all the other gaps, just in case you have to use it for payments. Gold and silver is something to have and to hold. You take it, you pass it down to your family members. I still have the gold and silver my dad gave me. And these babies, whether they're for diversification, asset protection for inflation, or economic turmoil, or in the case of the Prepper Bar, it's very unique utility for barter and trade. It's a perfect gift. Nobody will not like getting one of these. Silver's up, gold's doing great, and I think we're going to see much higher prices in the future. If you listen to the interview on Monday, you'd probably agree with me. None of this is financial advice. It's just a way to protect you and family, just in case. Now, listen, I checked with Jonathan Rose this morning. He sent me a text. They just got a restock and everything. They were very low on gold and silver. They just restocked. Comes with an assay report. No counterfeit gold coming out of there. 888-526-7154. 888-526-7154. We're lucky George will throw that QR code up to make it easy for you to go directly to the website. If he doesn't do it, you just head over to thebigmigbar.com. That's right, thebigmigbar.com. And here's your promo codes. You know we love promo codes for our audience. We want you to get a deal. Big Mig Gold, 5% off on the gold. And that's a huge number. That's hundreds of dollars because gold's up so high. 5% off on the gold, Big Mig Gold. Big Mig Silver, 10% off on the silver. Or you can call them at 888-526-7154, 888-526-7154. Now, the last thing, if you call on the phone, very important for you to tell them that the Big Mig Show sent you. They like to know they're getting a return on their investment, the guys at Genesis. Very important, and you can tell them, what we've said about on the show. They love to talk to people. No high-pressure sales. Get over there, get some of the information. You can do your IRA. You can do regular gold and silver investment. 888-526-7154. George?
Break me off a piece of that prepper bar.
And you forgot the QR code.
No, we're not using them anymore. I didn't forget anything. Apologize right now, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did they say not to use QR code?
Lance, we're using GenesisGoldGroup.com.
No, but that's not for the bar.
Yes, it is. That's what he said.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, well, my bad. We'll have to talk about that after the show. Maybe.
Oh, boy.
All right, well, I have an announcement.
Hold on. All right, do your stuff. I'm going to put you on solo. Do your thing while I look for stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So, I've been writing some books. A lot of people have been asking me questions about AI. I've become somewhat of an expert. I've been taking tons and tons of classes. I got involved with AI in early 2023. In the beginning, when I first looked at it, I thought, oh gosh, this is neat. Well, that was a stupid thing to say. Neat is not a good word. It was in my head, and I just like, oh, this is kind of cool. Look, you can look up a recipe for sauce. You can check on, what your rash is. It's way more than that. So I started using it for some legal work in late 2023, and I realized that this was an extremely powerful opportunity for everybody. I started taking classes in Anthropic and Google. I took all these classes on YouTube, you name it. I've just been trying to pull in all the information because I'm not a quant. I'm just like you guys. I'm just a blue collar kid from the Bronx, New York, that's been relatively successful in his life. I've been very fortunate, probably because of God. But I've worked very hard, and I've always tried to educate myself. And you guys know that I try to be well-rounded. I try to know a little bit about everything. I'm not an expert in some areas. I think in the law, I'm pretty good. I probably have over 10,000 hours of reading done at this point. They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. In combat sports, I probably got well over 10,000 hours of training. So I feel like I'm pretty well equipped, as a government contractor, the rest of it. And I'm trying to do the same thing with AI. No way do I have anywhere near 10,000 hours. I probably have, I don't know what I've got. I'd have to add it up. I try to do some of it every single day now. And that started in late 23. But it's like a new language, right? So I decided to write some books, and these are not AI slop. I actually wrote these. Now I use AI to fact check myself, to edit the format, because I'm self-publishing, and they're now available up on Amazon. They're going to be available on Barnes & Noble and everywhere else. I've got 6 books finished, and I'm working on 2 more. And I would love if you guys went over to Amazon, you buy a book. It's a great way to support me. Right now, the soft covers are up. I'm waiting for the delivery. They do this. I never knew this before. They give you this artist proof, and it's a way to see if you did things right. Of course, the first time I did the artist proof, I screwed up. My formatting sucked. But I'm doing it with just using AI to educate me, looking online, looking at the tutorials on Amazon. So it takes a minute. But the first book I wrote is called Blood in the Streets. Again, the paperback is available on Amazon. The ebook's available on Amazon. The hardcover, hopefully by the end of the day, the hardcover is supposed to show up today. If they look good, I'm just going to hit the publish button. And then it takes a day or 2 for Amazon to agree to put them up. They check it and make sure that's the content they want. And then I'm going to have it up on all the other platforms. You got to do this thing called Ingram Spark. It's complicated. I knew nothing about publishing, guys, and I'd never written a book before. The 5 of the books are AI driven. They're a great way for you to learn how to make money and learn about AI. And, man, George and I do one thing on the show. We try to be authentic. I'm not going to act like something I'm not. Yeah, I'm a little foul-mouthed, and yeah, I'm a blue-collar kind of kid from the Bronx. Yeah, I went to college and university, and I got a couple of degrees, and yeah, I've studied the law where I've got 4 paralegal degrees. And then I did a lot of other stuff. I've lived all over the world, been to 70-plus countries. But the point is, I wrote this in a manner that's easy for you to use. And the reason I wrote Blood in the Streets, that's a Rothschild quote. And the real thing is, it's just the opportunity. This is what I called this was the no BS survival manual for the AI gold rush. And it is a gold rush. It's an opportunity for you to completely change your life. If you're struggling and you need a second income, if your wife wants to make money while she's at home, or your girlfriend, or anybody in your family, your kids, again, I'm recommending my own book, and that sounds like a bullshit plug, but the truth of the matter is, I wrote this in a manner that every single person will get an education they need to further understand AI. The Rothschilds used to say, when there's blood in the streets, that's opportunity. They would save their money and they would buy, whether it was rare coins, for anybody who knows history of the Rothschilds, of course, the banking cartel, I'm not a fan of theirs, but they definitely know how to make money. And then they would play different governments against each other. They made a ton of money in the Napoleonic War. And they always looked for opportunity, meaning that people were hemorrhaging. They bought tons of real estate during the Depression because they were sitting on tons of capital. Of course, they were buying it at fire sale prices. People were jumping out of windows. I believe that this is the AI, this is a gold rush. It's bigger than ever. And I can tell you this, you need to get on board. So this is the first book I wrote. It's called The Blood in the Streets. It's available now on Amazon. And then the second book I put up is called, and of course, as a kid from New York, everybody had a side hustle, right? Anybody that's ever had to hustle, as a kid especially, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. We were always hustling something. I used to sell fireworks. George will say how the Italians always sold fireworks around 4th of July in New York. We were selling M80s and all that. I was always hustling a buck. I used to buy wood yo-yos down in Chinatown when I was a kid. And when the yo-yo craze was going on, I used to go down and buy them. I think they were like 5 or 10 cents a piece if I bought a bunch. And I'd come back and sell them in my suburb where I lived. Because I'd lived in Fort Monroe in the Bronx, and then my parents made a little bit of money, and they bought a $9,000 house in White Plains, New York. I was born in Tarrytown, New York. And I would hustle. So this book right here, the great part about this is called AI Side Hustles 2026. And it is all about different ways you can make money very simply. You don't have to have a lot of money to start. This book does not say, well, you start with 100,000 and you'll turn it into $1 million. That's not what it's about. It's about you starting with little to nothing and figuring out a way to make extra money. I took the best of the best that I could find for AI Side Hustles. Now, some of these I'm doing. Some of them I've done. But I went and researched what I believe were the best ideas all over the internet. And I used AI to scrape. And I would write, rewrite. As books go, you have to edit. And I'm self-editing and doing the grammar. But yeah, it's my lingo in here. If you like the way I talk in the show, simple, I did it in a way, there's lots of information. I didn't pack the words in, meaning where you're like having to use a microscope to read. I wanted to make it a book that everybody would. So this is 25 ways to build 5,000 plus a month. It's no fluff, no gurus, no bullshit. And even if you're starting from zero, and the idea is that you could take this book, and if you followed what's in here, and some of these I'm already proving 100% myself that I'm doing myself, you need to do this. Because if you want some extra money, I don't care if it's for your kids, maybe their college education, maybe you're just making ends meet. As an audience member, so I'm recommending, again, it's easy to recommend your own books, but if you guys like the books, if you buy one and you like it, and it's up on the ebook platform, so if you're that high-level member over at Amazon, you can just click on the ebook platform and you can read it in there. There's that high-level membership where you get access to additional books. I decided to go along with that. Here's a book that could give you extra money for anything. I don't care for gifts, for a new car, you name it. And if you do it right, you could start making a couple $100 a month to begin with, and then it'll just grow if you continue to do it right. Doesn't take a ton of time. It'll teach you all the steps. I've got the step-by-step instructions in here. So very simple. There's all my bio stuff on the back and author. But if you do buy it and you like it, I would love if you leave me good reviews, because the reviews on Amazon are crucial. So, and it's a great way to support the show. The books are reasonable. I priced them market rate. I didn't go crazy. And there'll be 3 other books. There's one for blue collar bosses. There's one for the medical field for doctors, because they're not great business people. They'll admit it themselves. It's a great way to automate their offices. And there's another book on other ways to make money that I added, because I did this one and I thought, wow, there's even more good stuff coming out. Because every week and every minute of the day, somebody's figured out something to do with AI that's even better. So that's it. AI Side Hustles 2006, Blood in the Streets. I'll put the link. I'll grab the link from Amazon. They just approved the paperbacks today. I'll put the link in there. I'd love if you went out and bought them. I love if you tell your friends and family. And let me tell you something. If you have a bunch of people in your family that don't really understand AI, buy them a copy. Buy your kids a copy. Buy your friends. There's nothing in here that isn't kid friendly. I know the title's edgy, but for anybody that understands the history of the Rothschilds, you can't. I don't like them. I think they're not a good family, but you can't refute their success in what they did. They started out with little or nothing. They started out in a ghetto, and they started buying old coins and started selling them to monarchs and high level titles of nobility individuals. So I'm excited about it, and I'll put the link in the chat. Hopefully you guys go out and buy a few and buy them as gifts. Maybe you can give them for birthday gifts and the rest of it. Let us know if you bought the books. I'd love to hear from you, and let me know what you think if you buy the book. I'd like the feedback, because again, I'm a first-time author. I just started doing this. So you'll see 4 more books coming out. I also wrote a book because my mom has diabetes. And the craziest thing that I have learned about diabetic care is that I didn't know shit about insulin. I didn't understand blood sugar at all. And if you're struggling with your weight personally, then I recommend buying the Diabetic Caregiver's book. Listen, what I learned from my mom, I will never have a weight issue again. And I've always been a guy that could put on weight very easily. I go to the gym, and the weight just comes on me. I mean, my biggest, I was probably 9 to 10% body fat and 258 pounds. So I'll tell you, I was a very big guy at a moment. I wanted to go to 300. This is years ago when I was a meathead. I'm back in the gym now. Right now, I don't know what my body fat percentage is, but my shoulder was injured, so I was kind of being a pussy. I've been treating my shoulder with peptides, which are working great. I had my shoulder scoped. I'm trying to slow down the replacement. It's all from combat sports, repetitive motion, all that teaching I did and everything else. But look, that's what it is. We're here to help you. Of course, we're trying to help ourselves at the same times. It's always a two-sided relationship, but we do want the best for you and your families. I want to see you guys succeed all the way around. I want you to be up to date. I don't want you to get lied to on this show. I want you to be able to trust George and Lance that we're going to deliver the right message. So that's it. That's my announcement, man. I think our guest is still late, George, huh?
Yeah. Hold on a second, Lance. Hold up.
Yes, sir.
How many books you got?
Well, I've got 2 right now, and I've got another one right now that's just about ready to get published. I've got the cover I'm proofing, and I have to register these things called ISBN.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Calm down.
go ahead.
Can they buy them right now, the people?
They can buy them right now. I'm going to put the link. I'm pulling up the link right now.
I mean, I think you should do that. My next question is if we buy both books or 3 books, is there a deal, Lance? I'm going to do what Lance. I'm going to do what Lance. We're going to look for a deal right here for our viewers right now. I'm going to hook our viewers up. What kind of deal you giving them if
George,
they buy all 3?
Right now, they don't have that on Amazon, but I understand Barnes and Noble might allow that. So yeah, I know it's frustrating. It's frustrating for me too, because I just figured this all out that I would like to offer a package deal, and I may have to contact Amazon directly, but I'm brand new to this, so you guys will have to bear with me. I wish I could give you a discount, and maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should put them up on our website. I haven't done that yet, because I got to be honest, I was a little overwhelmed on all this stuff. I didn't really understand the complexity of publishing your own book. I thought it was going to be easier. And there are so many things you learn that you can't expect it. You don't know. But I promise you that these books create a lot of value. I had multiple AIs critique my books, because I asked AI, I said, is this book of value for people? Will they benefit from it? Is it something that they could pass to their kids? And would they, I asked a lot of questions, because I don't ever want to just, George, just like the show, you do this amazing job on production. And I never want to do something where I feel like the audience isn't getting, treated at a higher level, like our own friends and family would be. So I asked it to critique it, and I went back and did multiple rewrites based on its advice that I wanted to create this high level of value. So even if you spend a few bucks and you can't get a discount
Dude,
yet
what the
now.
hell is that link you just put in there?
That's the Amazon link for both, one for each book.
No, not the way that goes.
I didn't have a bit.ly. I didn't bit.ly.
You don't need a bit.ly. Hold on. Damn it,
Lance. What are you doing? You're screwing up the chat. So you guys, listen, I love your support. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up button if you love the show. Support us. All that stuff. Rumble's working on all this new algorithm. I don't know where the chips are going to land. I don't know what they're going to do. But we need the help there, and we need help over on YouTube and locals, and you guys are our help. The mods, our subscribers, the $5 subscribers a month, that's a huge deal. The Rumble Rant tips, all that stuff is the stuff we need to continue. And we want to be able to continue. We never want to go anywhere. We want this to be one of the biggest shows in the nation. we're going to be putting in a big AI system very soon. It's going to be promoting the show, because if you don't get on this AI bandwagon, I'm afraid that you will be Neanderthal man. And I don't think anybody wants to be Neanderthal man. I don't think any of you deserve to be Neanderthal man. Meaning that, here comes Homo erectus, and of course the question is, are you going to get left behind? It's a language just like our crypto show. George does these education pieces on the crypto show, and that's to get you guys to lift you up, right? It's not always about just, how do we get money? How do we do it? It's all about helping you guys and helping us at the same time. We're a family, and I just want to say thanks to you guys for everything.
So Lance,
this has been an amazing ride so far.
When you go to Amazon, buddy,
yeah,
and you want to get the link,
yeah,
where it has a title, there's that little icon with the arrow where it says email, copy that link. That gives you the little link.
Oh,
if you notice, I just put it in the chat, both of them.
Thank you, George. George is the technical
see how
guy.
that is?
Yeah, but just like I said, if I need technical expertise, I go to George. He's much better than me. I have some technical expertise, but not like George. George is something else. I want to show the audience something. Hang on a minute. I want to show him something crazy.
He just fucking walked away.
Going rogue.
Fuck it. Let's just fucking make it the George show. Anyway, so while he's gone, I have a question for you all. Lance, you're going to have to wait a minute now. A serious question. How many of you out there are Bradley Cooper fans? Put it in the chat. I need to know real quick before I tell you why.
Oh, no.
Bradley Cooper fans. Who are you? Where are you? Anybody? Good news. I want to show you something. Leaves. Oh, yeah, that's Lance. He's going to get you what he wants to show you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you are a Bradley Cooper fan, and I think this is going to hurt him what he's about to do, because I think a lot of, especially the women, like Bradley Cooper. But check this out. Sean Penn is going to direct a film about January 6th with Bradley Cooper to star as Capitol Police Officer. That's not a career killer. You might want to rethink that, Mr. Bradley Cooper, unless you're actually going to tell the truth about the Capitol Police Officer and the bullshit he did and what they did. Okay, maybe.
There is no chance that
Lance.
Penn is going to tell the truth. There's no Penn.
Is Lance on the screen, anybody? You hear somebody talking?
There is zero chance that Sean Penn is going to do a truthful movie about J6. And I'll bet you any amount of money, George.
What?
You're muted right now online. I can't even hear you.
I'm not muted. You can't hear me?
I can't hear you in Rumble. I don't know why.
In Rumble? Why do you have Rumble open? You should be hearing me through Zoom. What the fuck you doing?
All right. But
What?
I think, here's my thing. Sean Penn got paid to go meet with Zelensky. He got $5 million, and he acted like he was going there to support the country and all. Sean Penn is a jackass. He really is. He's a jackass. And I don't think he's a good American. I think he's a paid puppet. And I believe that, I bet you if we find out who paid for the J6 movie, I bet you the money is all coming from all leftist organizations. And they've told him, as long as you do the movie like this, and I'm sure they're going to overpay Bradley Cooper and they're overpaying Sean Penn, the funding for that movie would be very interested. But so go ahead, George, finish your Bradley Cooper. So you think it's
you know what?
Okay. Well, I was going to show the audience. Can I do that?
Show the audience what?
Well, just go.
Should I put you on single?
Sure, if you want.
Oh, good. What do we got there?
Okay. So this is George and I's new AI computer. This is what we put our money towards. This is an Asus GX10. And this is a computer that we're going to be using to automate, not the shows. We're never going to do that because I think that's bullshit. This is going to be our marketing department and our growth department.
Why is it in the fucking box, bro? Why is it not hooked up already?
It's because I was waiting for some cables. I had a cable that they sent. They sent the wrong one. I was waiting for some high-end stuff that just came in yesterday. So it's all getting ready to go here. But this little computer right here can do a petaflop of data. Now, this computer is Linux. It was created for AI. And that is what, when you guys invest in us, this is what we do. It's not about taking money home at this point. We're growing the show. That's what it's all about. And thanks to you guys, we have that kind of an opportunity. That's what you've made it possible for us. We will be the only other person besides Mr. Beast that is doing this automation piece. I think it's going to be extremely powerful. George has been entrenched in AI. I'm entrenched in AI. And we're just continuing to focus on the future with you guys, because we want you guys to be part of this growth. We want you to be part of the best show on the internet when it comes to podcast hosting. So that's kind of all the news on that. George, what do you think? Are we going to just do the show? I guess Sheriff Mack may not.
Hold on. I got a message from my friend. And I'm gonna read some of the messages. He goes, "Hey George, it's been a while since we last connected. And wanted to drop a note to see how you and the family doing. Oh, I apologize for the delay. No big deal, buddy. I know you're busy. He was an FBI agent and he kind of retired because of all the bullshit. But he took a job at HSI because they wanted him. So he's been hit the ground running, doing a lot of work there. You know, making use of his awesome FBI investigative skills. He's actually spent a couple months in Minneapolis. Now he's working on an underage human trafficking squad, which is good. So anyway, he said to say hello to Lance, say hi to you. And I told him, I just texted him saying I will. Okay, yeah. So he's at work right now. I'll text him later when we get done and see if we can talk because he's at work. But maybe we can get him on. A little updates, a little insider access right there.
Yeah, that'd be great. He's a great person.
He's awesome.
The awful.
His whole family. His wife, his two girls. I know his girls are in college. They're tennis.
He's an amazing person. What's sad about that to me is of all the people that I would love to have in the FBI. The people that were doing, God's work and doing the right work and fighting for justice and doing everything right. He was one of them. And it's awful when you see the reasons that the good ones leave, why they disappear from the scene, why they aren't available. I think it's incredible that so many great agents got driven out and we got left with a bunch of shitheads. Truth of the matter is they're still in there. I haven't seen the FBI go after any of their own because they seem to believe they're above the law. Let's face it, the people that were involved in the J6 Fedsurrection investigations, the people that were involved in covering up the evidence and lying, they should all pay the price. Looks like Sheriff Mack may be here. So we'll get him in. We might have to take a short break. I don't know how you're going to do this, George. You tell me. You're the boss.
Lance, just keep talking for right now. Let me bring him in.
Yeah. So Sheriff Mack's here. We're going to get him in. Again, thanks for letting me talk about my books. And that computer, by the way, that was $5,000 of the AI computer, not including everything else. It's about a $6,800 hardware investment, let alone all the infrastructure we're having to build. I spent weeks and weeks and weeks building what
Lance, why don't you do Sheriff Mack's bio so we can bring him in?
Sheriff Mack's bio. Well, he's got a good bio and he's a good man. Sheriff Mack's one of the real good ones. He served in law enforcement 20 plus years with duties including patrol officer, corporal, sergeant, undercover agent, school resource officer, detective. He specialized in preventing crimes against children. In 1988, he was elected to the office of sheriff in Graham County, Arizona, where he grew up. He served as sheriff for 8 years. In 1991, while serving as sheriff, he graduated from the FBI Academy. No easy task there. It's a very, very tough school. He's been married to his wife, Dawn, for 50 plus years, and you can't do anything but congratulate him for that because that is
what, Lance?
That's a win in itself. He's got 5 children and 15 grandchildren. Damn. Christmas is expensive over at the Mack residence for sure.
Lance, you want to know something? So
yeah.
His what? We had the pleasure of meeting Dawn, his wife, at Constitutional Sheriff's event.
Yeah.
And his wife, I think, does his booking. So I'm going to say it wasn't his wife or why he was late today. I'm going to put this on Sheriff Mack. For whatever reason, we're just happy that he's safe and sound and he made it. Let's just bring him on. Welcome to the Big Big Show, Sheriff Mack.
You're absolutely correct. She told me it was at 9:00 my time. And I guess we were off by an hour.
Where are you at? You're in what? Arizona?
Arizona, Pacific time.
So that's 2 hours? You there or 3?
I don't know. Where are you?
New York.
No, that's 3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh.
3.
So you're putting this on Mrs. Mack. Is that what you're saying?
Well, she's my
live on air?
She's my scheduler.
I don't believe it. I don't believe Mrs. Mack would do that. I'm sorry.
If she doesn't watch it, I might not keep her another 50 years.
Whoa.
I know.
Thrown down the.
Don't tell her I said that, though.
I want to give the audience, because you've had so many damn awards, it's almost sickening. You were named NRA Law Officer of the Year. You were inducted into the NRA Hall of Fame, which is just incredible. For anybody that knows the Hall of Fame, it's nothing but the who's who of great Second Amendment fighters. Cicero Award recipient, Samuel Adams Leadership Award, Gun Owners America Defender of the Second Amendment, Elected Official of the Year Award recipient by Arizona New Mexico Coalition, I mean, you're the head of the constitutional sheriffs. You've been on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, and you've been fighting. The thing I like about Mack, and I'm going to act like he's not here for a second, he puts his money where his mouth is. He is not a bullshitter. He's not one of these government officials or now somewhat retired government official, but he's still fighting. And the truth is, that's why we linked up with him. George and I linked up with him early on. And the reason being, and we've linked up with a lot of people. Some of them stay with us and others don't because I find out that others are full of shit. That is not Sheriff Richard Mack. I wish he was in our main government. I wish he was in the federal government because I know that we'd have a trusted ally, meaning that he would do the best thing for the country. He would do the best thing for the American people. It's not really what we're seeing. We're still seeing an administration that is not delivering on its promises. And, you know, we're pro-conservative for sure. But we don't blindly follow people. But we enjoy working with Sheriff Mack and the constitutional sheriffs because I really believe they're trying to do the right work.
Two very honorable, respectable, very trustworthy friends of ours, I'm proud to say, is Sheriff Mack with Sam Bushman. Can't get two better men than those two.
Yeah, they're good people, man. They're probably better people than I will ever be. I struggle still with my own dark side of how I think about things. And I always try to look to people. I look at Michael Flynn. I try to look at people like Sheriff Mack and Sam Bushman, and I try to take my guidance. But sometimes, you know, that darkness creeps in and I start thinking, I can fix this, but I just need a big industrial wood chipper. All right, so Sheriff Mack, you had a lot going on. Maybe you can catch us up. You're always so friggin' busy. No wonder you were late today. What have you been doing, brother? What's going on with you, man? Let's get us caught up on the 911. You know.
Well, mostly I've been really involved. You showed the picture of it just a minute ago. 90% of my time is based on this new book getting out, and so my co-author had a very difficult time the last 8 months since he and I have been pushing this book and writing the book and editing the book and proofreading the book. His wife has been battling cancer. And so we still got it done. We were about 6 weeks late from the goal we set, but we made it. The book is here, and I have it in my hands, and it's the best book I've ever written. It's the most powerful book, and the title of the book, how it came about, and the cover of the book is very compelling. It's probably the best attention-getting cover I've ever seen on any book anywhere in the history of books. And the title, "The Democrat Murder of America." Well, don't we want Democrats to read this book? We absolutely do. It was written for Democrats, but it was written for all Americans. And the title, as offensive and bold as it might appear, is actually just trying to get your attention so you'll put it in your hands and you'll read it. Because we think this year is a very pivotal moment for American history. And we need to wake everybody up, everybody, Republicans, independents, and Democrats, and realize that the two-party system, as prophesied and predicted by General George Washington, or President Washington, when he gave his farewell address after serving as president for 8 years, he warned us against the party system. And he said everything except absolutely do not have it. He probably should have been part of making it against the law. And indeed, it has been the bane of American liberty, just as he predicted. And we've got to make sure that people wake up and stop being so loyal to your party and being loyal to the principles of liberty that America was founded upon. And how many of us in America even know that we're not a democracy, and our founding fathers never intended us to be a democracy? And when we find out that brainwashing and propaganda scam and the lies, maybe we need to start looking at everything going on in our country, especially the murderers from the Democrat Party.
Well, Sheriff Mack, I just want to say something. If you say hello to a Democrat, they get offended. So the title of your book, I think, is phenomenal. The book cover is absolutely an eye grabber. So no, don't ever apologize for something like that, because they get offended over anything. Let's just say that. But you're absolutely right. Constitutional Republic. And for people that don't know what that is, I'm going to just give you the definition. It's a form of government where the people hold sovereign power and elect representatives to govern them, but those elected officials are strictly limited by a supreme set of fundamental laws known as the Constitution. Unfortunately,
Amen.
we need to get back to that. Supreme law of the land.
Very well. Very well put.
I think
Yes,
the
thank
tough
you.
part about our country, as much as I wish I could say that everybody out there has educated themselves about the Constitution, that they've read the Federalist Papers, the Anti-Federalist Papers, that they've looked at the Bill of Rights. I'm sad to say that not only has our educational system faltered even in that task, because of course we've got the lowest testing score since 2009. Ever since the Board of Education got involved, our school systems have been tanking. Maybe it's DEI, maybe it's all the other garbage they're trying to groom our children with, but they don't do a good job. And the fact is, we're a constitutional republic with democratic values, but they love to say it's a threat to our democracy. We are not a democracy, but you have to read the Constitution. And let me say, as a good American, first of all, anybody that doesn't take the time to educate themselves about the beginning of this country, this grand experiment that the founders intended for us, you're putting yourself in an incredible disservice. To be a good American, you should understand our history. You have to know where we were to know where we're going. And you have to look at people like Sheriff Mack, who's always been a constitutionalist. He's always had conservative values. That does not make us, they always say, oh, you guys are MAGA, you're extremists. No, we're not. I'm pro this country. My belief is we need free and fair elections. We need to be specific to what the Constitution outlines because, listen, we're the greatest country in the world. We haven't been great many times, different leadership issues. Of course, Joe Biden did so much to damage this country. But the nefarious behavior of the Democrats and the other members, the rhinos, our congressional members, in my opinion, the majority of them don't have our best interests at heart. And Sheriff Mack, I don't know how much you go into on that, but what I don't like about the
I go into it a lot. Both of us do.
Yeah, and the Democrats, what I don't like about them is they lie to the country. They use the speech and debate clause to go into Congress and lie to you. I don't like liars. I've never liked bullies. I've never liked liars. Probably some of the fights I got in as a kid were because I saw somebody picking on somebody, and I was pretty skilled early on. I started boxing at a very young age, so I could defend people. If I didn't like what was going on, I would step in and, for lack of a better word, I would beat the shit out of the bullies. The point is, I don't like the bullying of Americans. I don't like the bullying of their intellect. I don't like the lies by mainstream media, and I call it the narrative cartel. You cover a lot of that in your book. Let's talk about some of that and how you cover that.
Well, if we took the low-lying fruit first and examine the worst things, and by far the worst thing the Democrat Party has done to us, you'd have to look at the full-scale election fraud that they have engineered and orchestrated and choreographed with meticulous detail. And that is the 4 years that Biden was there, the entire Democrat Party was engaged in making sure that 30 to 40 million illegals came into our country. Why? So that they could get them registered to vote. So they brought in terrorists because they couldn't keep anybody out. They wanted everyone to come in. And now, going from A to Z, Z is they are doing everything in their power to defend keeping these people here. That includes the cartels, the drug dealers, the terrorist groups. They're all here. Some secretly, some not so. Many sleeper cells have been established all throughout our country. Some of those people have already manifested themselves and their existence by committing some very serious crimes. One was the lady who'd been running guns to Iran for 20 years. She got arrested a few months ago. But this is the thing. The worst enemies of America have all infiltrated our country, not with just complicity from the Democrat Party, but with absolute support and manipulation by the stupid, corrupt Democrat Party, because they want to achieve a political monopoly over our country and not have to worry about cheating anymore with computers, but just completely have it with this final cheat. And that is 30 million people getting registered to vote. And then they say, oh, and if you require them to have ID, you're a racist and a bigot and a white supremacist, and you're Jim Crow 2.0, just to simply require identification. So now anyone who's even here on vacation, anyone from anywhere in the world can come into America on election day, walk into any poll, especially in California or New York, and walk in there and register to vote. And you're not even living here. Doesn't matter. And then vote right then and there. They will require no identification, and you can actually vote and go home to Argentina or Japan or China or wherever you're from and brag how you voted in America, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it.
Sheriff Mack?
This is your Democrat Party.
Sheriff Mack, no such thing as election fraud, they say. No such thing.
Oh,
Here's the question. Here's the question. You brought all that up, and we couldn't agree more. And this has been going on for how long? But yet nothing's getting done. How many people that orchestrate these big election fraud schemes have been arrested or convicted? None.
Very few. There have been some.
You get some of the little bottom feeders that voted twice or
it's
did
very
some
few.
stuff. But a lot of these big, like especially with the 2020 election, there's a lot of that orchestrated. And there's a lot of people behind it, and we still haven't seen nothing yet. I mean,
right.
I don't know if you know something.
Out.
But they brought him in and hit him and then put him in hotels and then spread him out throughout the whole country. They use taxpayer dollars to do all of that.
Well, do we know who they are specifically?
Biden administration, Alejandro Mayorkas, and anybody else that worked for the government during that time, they all did it. They were hiding them in airports. Then they hid them in hotels. They actually kicked veterans to the street and put illegal aliens. This was their plan to make sure that these people got here and get registered to vote.
Yeah, of course. Because
Lance, hold on. I want to bring something up.
30 million deep ghost voter pool. That was always about the ghost votes. We didn't know where they were at in any part of the country. Go ahead, George. I didn't want to stop.
No. So that's all right. Sheriff Darleaf, I believe you talked to him, right?
Good man.
He's a great man.
We're really good friends.
He has all that evidence. I mean, I know at that time the FBI, they were coming after him, trying to take him out, bring him down. I mean, do we know anything of what's going on with that?
Has Kash Patel made any effort to connect with Sheriff Darleaf? Has he made any effort through this administration?
I'll have to ask Dar if he's ever tried or if the FBI have tried to contact him. I don't think so. But the state of Michigan has been the one that really went after him at the beginning. They tried to indict him. They tried to arrest him. They did everything in their power to stop what he was doing. He's been doing this now for about 4.5 years. He's still marching on. He just got reelected a year ago to his 5th term. The people in Berry County really know that he's an upstanding young man, and his family's gone through some real hard times. During this time, just about a year ago, their only child committed suicide, and he marches on. His wife has had a real hard time, but Darleaf is undaunted, and he has stood for America, and he has been investigating election fraud. If they would just simply take the evidence that he has, Kash Patel or any other agency or sheriffs across the country, I would love to see the sheriffs unite behind Sheriff Leaf and then start their own investigations. And that part I trust the most, but there's just too many wimpy sheriffs, and they all just are mostly concerned about their pension and their retirement.
It is tough, for my opinion, at least on my end of it. What I think is really tough is that these sheriffs have an ultimate amount of power, and they're not taking advantage of that. They're not doing what I think is the necessary work to get things done. There's too many of them that are doing that. But I think we also have to be careful. I have an opinion, and as much as I always want to point the finger at the Democrats, because you've got one group, the Democrats, that are actively trying to destroy the country from within, right? For them, it's all about greed. You got the NGOs, the super PACs, the foundations, and they're all funneling money, right? And then they use USAID, which we still haven't seen anybody get arrested for that. Nobody's gotten arrested for the 14 magic money computers all the stuff Elon Musk talked about, Trump. You sure we're having UFC 250, but where the fuck is all the arrests for all the theft and fraud? How come Chelsea Clinton still got the $84 million she got for doing nothing? Okay, she's living in an $11 million mansion. How come we still haven't gone after Hillary Clinton for the Benghazi event, for the bleach bit and the hammer of her emails? We could pardon Snowden and Assange. They have a tremendous amount of material.
Hey, Assange did get pardoned, bro.
What?
Assange did get pardoned.
Assange did
pardoned, but he hasn't been brought into the loop to provide all the additional information he never posted on WikiLeaks. He's sitting on reams of data. I know it for a fact because I've been trying to get him on the show. I've had a dialogue about him many times with somebody. I'm not going to go into detail. You know who he is, George. My point is this. I think it's more than just the Democrats. Because the one group is effectively making all these overt acts. And then you've got the Republicans sitting around with their thumbs in their asses. John Thune, what a worthless, weak sack of shit. We've been talking about power slap. I think the only way to fix these people, George and I started doing something on Fridays where we call out the stupidest quotes and the weakest members of our Congress. And we joke around about how we're going to power slap them. That I ought to be able to walk into Congress and challenge them to a power slap contest. Because I don't know how you fix this. And I don't think it's just the Democrats, as much as I think you're on point on that. We have this completely ineffective. Then we got the rhinos that are siding with them. Anybody that doesn't want voter ID, in my book, that doesn't support it 100%, is a lying, conniving piece of shit. Doesn't matter what their title is in government. If they don't realize we need an ID to get on a plane, we need an ID to buy liquor, we need an ID to get a gun, we need an ID to go down and pick up certain items at the post office. You need an ID for just about damn. And listen, if you want to open a crypto account online, you need an ID. If you want to have a big account over at a big mortgage, a big investment group, any of them, they're going to ask for ID, especially if you're going to move. You need an ID to open a bank account. It's the most ridiculous thing that no party, Republicans or Democrats, seem to say, yeah, you're right, this is common sense. We don't have any common sense in D.C. These are a bunch of scoundrels. And I know, Sheriff Mack, in your history, I'm sure you've seen evil in the face so many times. I'm sure you've been sitting across with it when you made arrests, when you investigated people, especially in the trafficking world. Don't you feel like this is a fomented, plot against the American citizens to continue to subvert our elections so they can install jackasses? They're already talking about AOC and Harris running on a ticket. Newsom thinks he's going to run. Newsom, one of the biggest scumbags in politics, nephew to Nancy Pelosi. And Pelosi's still not arrested. The insider trading's still going on, and they think they're justified. They actually came out and said, well, we're underpaid. And I'm not arguing that they're underpaid, but nothing says that they can violate the laws of the United States. And then if we do it, we're going directly to jail. If they caught me insider trading, they'd be kicking in the front door. They would love to have an opportunity to arrest George and I, to get our voices off air, to dead stop us in our tracks. So we have to live the life of Riley. And I was not always the person I am now. I was a different guy years and years ago. And I operated under a different set of rules. I'm not proud of everything I did. I'm not justifying any of my behavior. I'm saying that I had a different belief system than I have now. I've changed. My point is, when the frick do these people on the Republican side stand the frick up? To me, it's a uniparty in D.C. Don't you feel like that's so much of what's wrong?
Yeah, I mean, we looked at the uniparty complaints, obviously, but when it comes to serious spending issues, they deserve the uniparty term label. But also the rhinos, most of them are Democrats who've infiltrated the party, and Republicans have been so infiltrated. And that's where the uniparty thing came from. And that's where, politically speaking, the Republicans have been so weak, even the ones that are supposed to be the good ones, and understand all they care about, both parties, is getting reelected and how many donations they can get to their campaign.
100%.
And so that's why it needs to stop. But when it comes to protecting life, and when it comes to not funding Planned Parenthood, the Republicans have shined quite a bit more than the Democrats there. And I think Trump's the first one that ever did anything to slow or stop funding $800 million a year to Planned Parenthood. Yeah, it's still not complete, and it's still not where it should be. But again, that's one of the most critical ones it should be for everyone. And see, that's where the book points out, though. First of all, I have a chapter that you pointed out that says number 3, save our democracy, in quotes, democracy. And what we point out is, don't save our democracy, save us from democracy. And then there's another point. This one's really, really powerful. And this applies to everyone, but especially the Democrats. Do you remember Nikita Khrushchev?
Yes.
The leader of the Soviet Union in the 50s and 60s. And I was a young boy then, and he scared me to death. He was fat, he was ugly, he was shouting all the time, he was always grimacing and looking mean. But I was just a young kid, and he scared me. But he said some things that are so powerful. He warned America over and over. He said, "Oh, you Americans, you're so gullible. And you think you're rejecting communism? You will do this." And he warned our country, warned us all. You will take a little bit of socialism, a little bit of it at a time, and you will wake up one day and realize you're just as communist as every other country, and we will destroy you from within. Now, the Democrat Party is fulfilling every bit of what Nikita Khrushchev warned us would happen, is happening, and it's being facilitated completely by the Democrat Party. They are embracing everything of the Marxist platform.
But as the Republicans sit on the sidelines, there's a thing that's called misprisions of a felony, right? It's when you are aware of a felony and you don't report it, you become a co-conspirator.
And you do nothing.
Yeah. So if you find out about a felony, the first overt act,
let me defend.
Don't you think the Republicans, by not doing anything, are
but let me stop you there.
Let
me stop you there, because the book exposes what they're doing, and that's why everyone needs to read the book. Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't want to do this book, but I'm sick and tired of all the lies and corruption in Washington, D.C. But I've already had an answer to that for a long time. You take back America county by county, and you have sheriffs and local officials who stand for liberty. We've had some tremendous successes there, but it's not even close to being enough. And we've got to get the sheriffs and the counties united. But we have to keep putting out these fires, because like right now, we're spending so much time and money in Washington state to stop them from destroying the office of sheriff. And so when you have all these states and they keep attacking everything we've done, everything that we've accomplished, and they keep doing it, and their powers them to themselves. And so like the Governor Ferguson of Washington and the AG there, they're attacking sheriffs, and they've actually passed a law to create a bureaucracy that will determine the qualifications for anyone wanting to run for sheriff. And they get to just pick and choose who can run. And then if they get somebody that starts standing for freedom, they can fire him immediately, and they can dismiss him without cause. This is what Washington is doing, and that's kind of the innocuous
talking
stuff.
About Washington, D.C. or state we're talking about?
Washington state.
Yeah, because they have a socialist mayor there. We have a socialist mayor in Mondami, New York. Yeah. You have a socialist that won a primary in California, and I think now in D.C. too, if I'm not mistaken, another one.
Yes, that lady that just won there.
Yeah, they're slowly sneaking their way in.
Right.
And they're just going to destroy these cities.
Everything that you guys are talking about is in the book, except I really want to pick on Democrats this time. We might do one attacking the Republicans. But the thing of it is, I want to keep it simple, because everything's documented in the book that the Democrats have done, and even murder. And we've documented the murder. And I love that cover. I mean, look at that cover.
About this for a minute. No, I think the cover is great.
You said you documented murder? You got all of Hillary's on there, you're saying?
Well, we mentioned the corruption of Hillary and Bill extensively. And of course, Vince Foster. And you guys know that there were two renowned, Davidson and anyway, there was two powerful, renowned economists, international economists, that wrote a book called The Sovereign Individual. And this is way back in 1998. but they go after Bill and Hillary big time. And they even say in their book, and we kind of play off on that the Vince Foster murder was the most poorly disguised murder in American history. And then they talk about her cattle futures investment. And we found some other school in Florida that also did the math on her doing that legally. And see, we're taking the easy stuff here. And I admit that right up front. But we're trying to give everybody the milk before the meat here. And so, yeah, Hillary and Bill, I hope they sue us. And I hope the Democrat Party sues us. Because we're talking about real cases of murder here.
And you're over the target, but here's my question. We don't have the sheriffs doing their job in a lot of places, right?
Correct.
There are great ones like Darleaf. There are amazing ones. But then there's a whole bunch of them that aren't doing jack shit. And now I know what I voted for. When I voted for this administration, I was told that they were going to drain the swamp. I was told that there was going to be transparency, accountability, and consequences. And I have to be honest, I haven't seen jack shit. Now, I don't want to blame Todd Blanche yet because he's probably just still getting his feet wet. Pam Bondi was a worthless sack of shit. She didn't do anything that I expected. I think she conspired. I think there's many people in this administration. The first administration with Donald Trump, I cringed when he picked Pence. I cringed when he picked Bill Barr. I cringed with so many of his choices. They were awful. They put the hair up on the back of my neck, and I recognized immediately. Even I have to be honest, I don't think that John Ratcliffe did the job. He found out all this information, and he sat on it like a giant pussy. And if he wants to come on this show, I'll challenge him to a discussion. Why didn't you go for the jugular? Why didn't you demand indictments for all the fraud and everything else, the foreign interference? But let me ask you this, Sheriff. And again, I love what the book's topic is. My thing is always about exposing the truth. And we've been suspended. We've been, taken off of X. We've been taken off of YouTube. We've been taken off of TikTok. We've been suspended and suspended and suspended. And never have we ever violated any of the rules. It's strictly because we put the truth out. And we had the facts to back up the truth. They weren't creations. We talked about the pandemic and we put out CDC and VAERS information. We got suspended for that using the data, which I don't even think that data was accurate. But what's your feeling on where we're at right now? Because I don't see this administration. I see them talking about their wins. They keep talking about their wins and their wins and their wins. And they talk about a good economy. Sure, eggs are cheaper. Sure, pork's down. You can buy bacon cheaper, which for my family, my mom loves bacon. So that's a win. But my question for you is, what do you think about where we're at with this administration? Because we're, a year and a half or a year and however many months in, and I still don't see the swamp draining. I mean, I've got this book back here from Kash Patel, Government Gangsters, which was supposed to be the roadmap for what the hell he was going to do. And this book really needs to move into my bathroom for toilet paper. It's a worthless piece of shit that he hasn't lived up to his end of the bargain, in my opinion. He's done some good work, but that book's a piece of crap. I don't even know why I still have it on the shelf. I didn't make it to Costco, so I'm thinking about moving into the bathroom so I can wipe my ass with the pages.
That's rough paper to use on your butt ass, Lance.
It is a little rough. You're right. And that's why I've been kind of, but I've got a tough butt, The point is, what about Donald Trump? What about the accountability? Where's the transparency? Where are the deep state arrests? You've done an amazing job of exposing so much, and I'm sure your book's going to be incredible. I'm excited to read a copy of it because I know you're a truth teller. But how the fuck do we get these guys to do their jobs? How do we get Donald Trump to live up to what he guaranteed us? We were going to have the elections fixed.
Well, one would be that we find a way to stop getting him with all these attempts for assassination. And so, really,
no doubt.
But wait a minute. Put yourself in Trump's place. And I've given Trump about a B- as far as his fulfilling what he really needs to be doing as president.
Moving into
but at the same time, he's done some amazing things. But every time he does, he gets thwarted. And every time, okay, right now, if you're Donald Trump, what is your biggest concern? And he's even told it to us.
If I'm Donald Trump, I'm definitely
he's told it to us.
But I'm telling you what I'm going to do if I'm Donald Trump. I'm number one. I'm going to go after the Federal Reserve. I'm going to go after them viciously. That's going to be over with. Number two.
No. What's your biggest concern?
My biggest concern?
But my biggest concern
is delivering on what
you're
I
saying
people.
But you're not talking about what Trump is concerned about. What is Trump's biggest concern right now?
Money.
He is focused on making more money for him and his family than ever.
So he says he wants a security elections. He wants to, pass the Save America Act.
He does that. He wants that. Yeah, he wants that.
And he actually just said he's not going to sign the FISA bill if they don't put Save America Act in it.
Small potatoes. Small potatoes.
What
is Trump? He's already said this publicly, that he's going to get impeached. And that is his biggest concern. And that's what he's fighting. And that's what he's trying to stop. And that's why he's so involved in the elections.
Sheriff Mack, the midterms are already lost if he doesn't go on an onslaught of deep state arrests. Let me tell you something. We're in a lot of chat rooms where we talk to all kinds of people nonstop. George is connected to tons and tons of people, even more so than I am. And we sit on the outside, we watch these chat rooms. His supporters are pissed off. They are tired of the bullshit that we were told there were going to be arrests. There was going to be accountability. I don't care if he has to go to totalitarian or dictator. It is time to start snatching and grabbing people, hitting them with the hoods, hog tying them, and dragging them out to the cars. There are so many crimes that if you and I committed it, we'd already be looking at federal cases for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It is time to stop being a pussy. And I think Donald Trump is being a pussy. And if he came on this show, I would tell him to his face, he wouldn't like my interview because I said, well, what happened to all the deep state arrests? Well, I'm not in charge. No, you are in charge. If Todd Blanche can do it, then go get Sidney Powell. And if Sidney Powell can't do it, get somebody else. My point is that we've loaded ourselves back into a position where he's allowing this stuff. We always do this on the show. We talk about bartenders. You hire a bartender to run your bar and he steals one drink the first night and he gets away with it. Next night it's 2 drinks, then it's 3 drinks. By the end of the month, you're paying his rent, right? Because he's stolen so much from you. If actions don't have consequences, that's the issue. How do we get to the consequences for actions? The insider trading is out of control. MTG, who I don't like anymore because I think she's full of shit, she basically left Congress with $25 or $30 million after insider trading her whole term. She waited till she was going to get her full pension, and now she's got a $5 million house down in Costa Rica. They're all doing it. They're all enriching themselves on the back of Americans, and they're violating statutes and laws that are on the books. The Democrats, no doubt, are guiltier than the rest.
Why would you go after MTG when they never went after Pelosi?
I didn't say it.
No, I'm just saying, but
I agree with you. I'm not just picking on MTG. I'm picking on the system.
But what I'm focusing on in the book is that there's actually a solution.
What is
and the American people have got to come together. And the epilogue, the last chapter, actually presents a real live, for real come together between a Democrat and Republican, an extremist and leftist progressive lady in the legislature in California actually started slamming the Democrat Party. And she goes, I've been a Democrat my whole life. I'm a progressive. I love the Democrat Party. But we have not taken care of children. We have not taken care of crime. And I'm done with you. And then she came together during that time with a Republican and actually accomplished a miracle. And that is what we have to do. We have to follow that example.
What she accomplished? What they do?
First of all, you can't talk about Trump and all the deep state stuff with Democrats who've been brainwashed their whole lives. You can't do that. You've got to give them the milk. And that's why. But but seriously, this is why we
brainwashed. This is truly innately.
But we risked our lives to put this book out. Yeah, but at the same time, you cannot go to a little baby Democrat who doesn't know a damn thing about our Constitution, who doesn't know a damn thing about what form of government we have, who doesn't know all these things about the deep state, and doesn't know about the Federal Reserve or the United Nations being an enemy to freedom and country, and that they're part of this. Look at Trump. When was the last time a president actually stood up and said, we're done with being about 5 different organizations? He should have said, we're done with all of you, but he warned the United Nations they better start doing their job. And no president has ever done that.
New York day 2. They would have been out. I would have said, of course. 30 days to clear out. You're done.
Of course. But my point is this. If we're going to have, just like you pointed out at the beginning, if we're going to have the Democrats and mainstream Republicans understand that we've got to do this and that we are the sovereigns and that we're in charge and we're the first 3 words of the Constitution. We're in charge, and it's not just because we vote. but they've got to get this wake up call in their hands. And I didn't want to write another book. I haven't written a book for 12 years. I've written 7, 8 books, very powerful. But they sit on my desk. They sit on the desk here. Nobody's reading them anymore. And the thing of it is, we have been so brainwashed as a people that this is the clarion call to wake everybody up. It's a bold title that I think will get everybody's attention. Anybody like my brother. I want my brother to read this because he's very mainstream. And then I want him to give it to one of his kids that are the same, or a friend. I want a Republican to read this and hand it to their friend. I know you're a good person. You're on the wrong side. We've got to come together. We, the people, have got to come together and start changing what's going on. Washington, D.C., we can make irrelevant if we get people moving in the counties and cities and states. And that's why the American people have got to read, and I'm telling every Democrat especially, read the epilogue first so that you know what this book is really about. I got your attention with the title and the cover. I got your attention, mainstream Democrat and Republican. If you want to do something for our country, read this book and let's get together. We have 2 solutions, especially that senator from California. But she set such a great example. And this was just a couple of years ago, year and a half, couple of years ago that she did this. And it was astonishing. And it was a miracle. And it was because she woke up. That's what this is. You know, how many books are out there and movements that say wake up, you know, the wake up tour and all this. And those aren't doing any good either. I did one for 5 months and got on the bus and we toured all over across America. Nothing. It produced nothing. It was a waste of time. And the thing of it is, what we finally found is an answer that everyone can get. What we want is hopefully Tom Homan and President Trump and others in Washington, D.C. will see this book and go, you know what, this could be a game changer. And that's what we want. We want everybody to realize that what's in this book is a game changer. And we can't start where the 3 of us are. We know what's going on. These people don't. And that's why we have to give them the piecemeal. And look at what Martin Luther King's family have said and done. They actually said that J. Edgar Hoover and the government killed their father. And it wasn't James Earl Ray. That's what they said. And Dexter King actually went into prison and interviewed him. And he recanted his confession and said he wanted a trial. Do you know who wouldn't give it to him? The government. They said no. No. Where is it in a rule that if you confess and then admit you lie, you don't get a trial? That's like, listen, we stepped on home plate and we made the rule.
Our legal system is a weaponized system. I know an awful about a lot.
Of course.
About the law. The judiciary is biased and weaponized. I'm not saying there aren't some good prosecutors. I'm not saying there aren't some good judges. There are some amazing judges around the country. But there are many of them that are biased, that have been installed, you know, they've gotten in their position. We keep them in there with absolute immunity and qualified immunity. We keep them in there for a lifetime appointment. And it doesn't matter whether they do a shitty job. It doesn't matter whether they violate the constitutional oath and they violate people's rights. They usually use procedural blocks. Many people should be getting relief. Doesn't matter what the crime was. But you never see anything happening. You never see the prosecutors who destroy evidence, who eavesdrop on legal phone calls. They never get prosecuted. The DOJ never eats their own. Same thing with the FBI. How about all this burn bag crap and all these skiff rooms and all the crap we found in all those rooms? How about all the stuff that Tulsi Gabbard was going to disclose? She's still going to disclose right to the end. But I know she's got stuff going on with her family. But I still feel like that even at a state level, even if we activate everybody, right? If everybody gets activated, it's still a problem because we have so many corrupt individuals in D.C. and nothing is being done about it. Donald Trump is not delivering. He's not delivering on draining the swamp. Kash Patel is not delivering on draining the swamp. And I'm just concerned that even if we do activate at a state level, is it enough, Sheriff Mack? Is it enough?
Yeah, well, we've seen when it does happen that it has been. I mean, we love Sheriff Darley from Berry County, Michigan. You do, I do, George, everyone did. Okay.
I would clone him if I could. all across the
If
country.
I was just going to say that, if we had 1,000 Darleafs, and that's doable. But we've been trying to raise money to do a national conference for constitutional sheriffs.
Yeah.
What would be $3.5–4 million compared to what's being used against us, and compared to where the money goes in the Patriot movement?
Listen,
I
they
mean,
don't put any money. You just nailed something.
No,
that's
but if we had it,
they don't
though,
pay. All the money that got funneled out of DC through USAID and they get sent to Open Society and George Soros' 64 foundations, right? That all got funneled all around his NGOs. And all the money that gets, Reid Hoffman got access to money. The Clintons got access to money. All these groups get access to money. But the Republicans never make any effort to empower shows like this, to empower the constitutional sheriffs. We never see the money going the other way. Donald Trump can raise money for a ballroom, but he doesn't raise money for any of the shows. He doesn't raise any money for The Voice. He calls us the echo chamber because he thinks he has it just a given. And we don't do that on the show. If he does something good, I'll give him an attaboy. If he screws the pooch, I'll go after him viciously. In my opinion, that's the performance guideline on this show. My thing is,
but that's why I say
none
even
of the money ever comes our way. They just continue to not fund us.
But money is out there. How do we get hold of Elon and ask him to donate to make this happen?
It's a good question.
If we could raise the money, which we've never really even been funded. There was a couple of years where we actually had some money when we first started our constitutional posse. And people were seeing it, but they've all quit. They've all gone somewhere else. And
wait, you need money for the Constitutional Sheriff's Organization?
Oh, heck yes.
Oh, so how to get Elon's attention? I'll tell you, get one or two of these sheriffs and make a big time arrest on election fraud or something. Get it out there. He'll end up seeing it, and that's how you get your donations and his attention.
We've already done that. We've had sheriffs that have done that.
Where?
Even a sheriff who doesn't like me. Did election fraud arrests in Yuma, Arizona. You can look that up.
What'd they do? What was it?
That was about 3 years ago.
Who'd they arrest? Though?
And then another sheriff in San Juan County, California.
But who'd they arrest?
Made an arrest on election fraud.
But like, what kind of arrest? I'm saying, like, what is it? One person?
No, yeah, well, it was a city councilman, and they arrested the city councilman. And he, so it's all.
You're talking. Those are small time like town officials that are trying to manipulate so that they win. I'm talking about more. I'm talking about more on the bigger level. What you see in the federal election for people with Congress and Senate. I don't care what level.
I wish But
that's what's going to get more of the attention.
Pretty
though.
Big,
huh?
But I'll go with it. But the thing of it is. Then these big rich people do the exact same thing Nancy Pelosi has always done. Whenever she's confronted with how she became 250–300 million millionaire, she does the hit and run. She knows how to dance a sidestep better than anybody.
Well, that's what politicians do. All politicians do that.
But the thing of it is, I want to focus on the solution and how we get it done. That's where I want to go.
The constitutional sheriffs getting all in one group and challenging Kash Patel publicly about doing a campaign where they all post and say, Kash Patel, when are you going to deliver on government gangsters? Kash Patel, when are you going to go after insider trading in Washington, D.C.? When are you going to start charging the deep staters? When are you going to drain the swamp? Imagine if every constitutional sheriff in the United States tomorrow morning posted 25 times tagging Kash Patel, the FBI, Donald Trump, Dan Scavino, and they did it for an entire week, nonstop on X, True Social, Getter, wherever they're at. And if they posted 15, every constitutional area in the country, when are you going to deliver on draining the swamp? Imagine if you, and then they asked all their constituents and all their people to repost that. Imagine hundreds and hundreds of thousands of posts going out, and they directly attack the administration for not delivering on their promises, for Kash Patel for not making arrests on election fraud, for not arresting people on insider trading, for not actually.
Okay, so how do we get those sheriffs together to do that? Who's going to do it?
I mean, you've got their email list. What if you crafted the emails yourself and the messages and say, just like they do? You've seen the clip where they take that clip, right? And they go, it's a threat to our democracy. They took all the news stations on this thing, and you've seen it where it's all spliced together. It's a threat to our democracy. This is a threat to our democracy. That's what if you ever notice the Democrats, one thing they do very well, and I hate to give them credit for anything, because I think it's fire and brimstone if it was up to me, if I was in charge. It would be biblical. And the country might go up in arms, but I would clean it out. It would be 3 weeks of nonstop grabbing and snatching, and those people would never come back. They're lucky I'm not the president of the United States. I would abuse my power, and I would deliver to the American public, cleaning out government from top to bottom. It would be biblical. But my point is this. If every sheriff did what the Democrats do, because you see when the Democrats want to go, oh, the ballroom, they get all organized and then they tee it off with whatever their secret emails or whatever. And then here comes the onslaught on social media. Oh, Donald Trump with the ballroom. We need a ballroom to protect all these foreign dignitaries. And then those idiots disclose this massive intelligence hub that's going to be underneath the ballroom, and they go out publicly and do it, which I think was a national security violation. I think they all should have been arrested for everybody that said that, because I think we needed that, the Secret Service and all that stuff. But if all the sheriffs did it, Darleaf, if Mac,
but the
if
thing
every
is,
sheriff across the nation did it, we'd be in a different spot. They need to get off their asses, and they should weaponize social media. Start going after Nancy Pelosi. How about you load her feed up today? If every constitutional sheriff in the United States went into her feed and said, you lying, cheating, insider trading witch, you belong in jail for what you've done, you and your husband, and so do the rest of the scumbags.
But I'm telling you guys, that's not. We've done similar emails all the time. They don't get any response. They don't even get read. Okay, and that's why I say we've got to come physically together. We've got to get the sheriffs together in a meeting, and then we come up with that plan of attack. And look, if we can't even fund that in the freedom movement, then
we struggle with funding for this show. I don't see the money coming out of the world.
Exactly.
We have to fight for every dime we get.
But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen with an email blast. It's not.
Yeah,
and we've tried those before.
That group should be so organized that if they turn.
How about if you get a bunch of people to get at least try calling them, or get them on a phone at least one time to acknowledge, what you're doing, and that you'll be emailing or sending them more literature, however.
Yeah. Trying to get to the actual sheriff and look, the ones that I've been working with, for the last 15 years, half of them aren't even sheriffs anymore. And they've either lost or they've died or they've retired, and they go off into the sunset. So like we just had a meeting January 10th in Washington State to try to save the sheriff there. I go all over the country trying to put out fires, and the sheriffs are.
Sheriff Mack, maybe you need to stop putting out the fires and start starting your own fire.
Well, my goal to do that is to have 1,200 sheriffs in the same room. So I can't see it any other way. Darleaf came to our first conference January 30th, 2012, and he was so touched by it. And there were 95 sheriffs there.
All right, so can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Here's a way maybe to go about it. So you got to find one sheriff from each state to be the head of that state, and they're all in their sheriff's associations for that state, and they can get a hold of all the other sheriffs and try to help coordinate. But you need one person that's going to represent the sheriff's association from each state to get a hold of these other sheriffs and help coordinate this. Just like all the regular police have organizations. Look, in my area, all the police chiefs, they have the annual meeting every year from all the police chiefs, even from the county, from the state, all the time. They have these things. So
most of them are going to say, well, just go to the National Sheriff's Association, Mac, and do your presentation there. I've tried to do that for 30 years.
Yeah.
They don't want anything to do with it. So, they're creatures of habit. Even if we did get one in each state, which we've been close to having a time or two, the rest of the sheriffs don't want to mess with this. And it's what has kept me full of hope towards the sheriff movement is that there's always another sheriff coming up. And right now I'm helping 4 or 5 of them run for office right now. And some of them are incumbents, some of them are not. But it's just not as simple as you're making it sound. And simple.
I didn't say it was going to be simple. I never said it was going to be simple, Sheriff. It's going to take work.
50,
but
well, no,
that's
it
a
does
start.
sound simple.
Huh?
No, it does sound simple. Let's get one sheriff in each state. Well, 3 states don't have sheriffs. So that's another huge problem. And we're fighting.
So
to keep
wait,
it.
if those states don't have sheriffs, they don't have any sheriffs at all? No. All right, so then don't worry about them. Worry about
Alaska,
the states that have
Hawaii,
sheriffs.
and Connecticut.
Well, worry about the states that have sheriffs.
Well, you see, we're trying to save the office of sheriff, and yet at the same time, we're still trying to have the sheriff save us. And it's you guys. I've been doing this. Well, I formed CSPOA in 2011, but I was doing this before that. I just formed the organization then. But as soon as I got the people of Arizona fired me because I was suing the Clintons, and they were sick and tired of me being an activist. So even I got sent home, and sent to the curb, kicked to the curb, I should say. But ever since then, I've been to all 50 states. I've done presentation in 48 states, and just like Sheriff Prince said, who I went to the Supreme Court with, we just have too many damn wimpy sheriffs. But I honestly believe that the solution to all of this, if we get a third of the sheriffs in the same room, and I could call and say, "Oh yeah, I'll do it." Then who keeps track of those 50? Who gets them together, and who keeps them on board? And 10 of them will be gone within the next 6 months for retirement or whatever. And keeping them together, I've had computer specialists and IT specialists say, "I want to keep track of all your sheriffs." None of them lasted over 2 weeks. It's like herding cats. It's just herding cats. And so, we've had a huge impact on some regards, but I came on the show today so I could really push this and defend my life.
That's all right.
No. And I appreciate that. And I know the book's going to be amazing, and I want the audience to support it.
So far it's not. I did a show big time yesterday, and I thought I've had one show where we sold over 10. And this is in the last 2 weeks. The book's only been out 2 or 3 weeks. The paperback's only been out a week.
You self-published, correct?
Correct. We made a publishing company. We did it, but we have a fantastic publicist, and we hired his company, and that cost us $2,500 a month for that, which he actually gave us a break on the price. And I've never done that before, and I've written books before, and it really takes pounding the pavement. You've got to go do interviews, and you've got to go to events. And I just did the John Birch Society event in Salt Lake City a couple of weeks ago, and we sold 2 cases there. But I was expecting to sell 5 cases, but they had other authors there. So I was in competition with some huge authors from all over the country. And I love them. They're great guys. Some of them are very good friends of mine. So you know what? It takes a lot of work to do it. And I got to ask both of you, when do I get to retire?
Yeah.
Give me the age.
It's a great
When do you get to retire?
It's a great question.
When you want to. It's up to you.
I've wanted to for 10 years. And I'll be 74 this year.
Maybe the wifey probably doesn't want you to retire. She's like, no, get out of the house. Go do that. She wants her peace.
Sheriff Mack, it's an awful road that we're on. We're fighting, all of us. And I appreciate you've always stayed, true to the need for this. And that, that's why I think your book is very important. And I didn't mean to challenge you on the show so much. My problem is that I've been pushing down a lot of stuff into my gut, and I'm trying to bite my tongue. And I'm hoping that next week is the week that I hear.
We all are.
We all are wanting to open up the news when I'm looking for stories for the show, and I want to see that they arrested or they went into Congress and dragged out 300 or 400 of them. I want to hear that, and I want to see it, but it's not happening. And Donald Trump can talk about impeachment. The impeachment is guaranteed. We have lost the midterms unless these arrests happen before the midterms. The midterms are done. They're going to get crushed. And then it's going to start with all the impeachment garbage. And the truth of the matter is that's what I'm worried about. Because at the end of the day.
But the midterm is exactly what we're writing about that people should not be joining to do. And that's why if we can wake enough people up, because there's good people in the Democrat Party, they've just been completely brainwashed. And if they would take the time, and if the Republicans as well, if every American would just take a minute and read some of this, they won't put it down.
Yeah.
And then pick 5 chapters, pick 5 titles of the 27, 36 chapters. Well, they call about the authors and they upload. So there's like 34 chapters. Pick 4 or 5 chapters and read this and see what we should be doing as the American people who own this country and have the stewardship to protect it. You know, it would be absolutely amazing.
Let's do the shameless plug here. Where can they find the book right now to buy it? Tell them about to find your social media. You know, look for all the support.
Murderofamerica.com. Murder of America, all one word, murderofamerica.com, or people like it simple, go to cspoa.org.
Is it available on any of the platforms like Barnes & Noble or Amazon or any of those?
Yeah, and the printing company that we have that we're hiring does all of that. So we've got it all covered. But let me ask you, you were saying you've been kicked off everything. You think Amazon will push a book that says this?
I don't know if they'll push it, but they will allow you to put it up. My point is, I think the more visibility for any book, and you could also go over to Ingram Spark. I just you know, before you came on, I was talking about the 2 books I've written. So and I've got 4 other books completed. I'm working on 2 others. 5 of them are about AI. One's about being a diabetic caretaker and understanding insulin, because my mom is something I've been struggling with, and there was no book to help people. So I did that for my own reasons. And then I've got 2 political books I'm working on. And I'm a first-time author. I learned to self-publish and get it up on all the platforms. I got my own ISBN numbers. I bought a block of them from the company that sells them, the only one here in the U.S. My point is, all right, well, get out there, support Sheriff Mack, go follow his social media, get over there, support the CSPOA, buy a book. Listen, you got to educate yourself. That's what this show is all about, educating and unifying the country one episode at a time.
Amen.
And today, go on social media. If you don't like the job that Kash Patel, Donald Trump, or Todd Blanche are doing, tell them. Go in there and talk some shit, because they deserve it. It's time to throw down the gauntlet. We have to fix this country from the bottom up, and it's on you and us to make a difference. All right, George, last words. Sheriff Mack, thank you much for joining us. George, go ahead.
Yeah, it's Sheriff Mack. It's always a pleasure. Stay backstage for a few minutes. We just got to talk to you. Everybody have a blessed day. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. I love you guys. Peace.
It's hump day.
I might have to let it drop. Represent, gotta do it hella big, had to run it back again, get like it. Represent, had to do it hella big, had to run it.
Are you ready to stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At cspoa.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever. Visit cspoa.org and join the Sheriff's Citizens Posse today. Make a difference. Stand for freedom. That's cspoa.org. Your country, your fight, your future.
What if you could predict your financial future? And what if you could trade on it? Introducing Block Trust IRA. The future in your hands. An astonishing 88,000 millionaires were created last year from the Bitcoin boom. And you could be next. Block Trust IRA is the only crypto management firm powered by AI-driven strategies, ranked #1 in the world by Bitcoin Magazine. The Block Trust IRA platform is built for everyone, from first-time buyers to seasoned investors. Predictive AI technology that was once only reserved for insiders and elites is now available to you. It's time to leave the old buy and hold strategies behind. Your assets are protected with military-grade security, offline cold storage, and $200 million in insurance. Visit BlockTrustIRA.com to book your free consultation and ask how to claim up to $2,500 in deposit bonuses today. Bitcoin changed the game. AI changes the strategy.
Hi folks, I'm here today to introduce you to the Prepper Bar from PrepperBar.com, the most unique precious metals product we have seen in a long time. These 62-gram bars are perforated and easily broken down into your choice of 3 different sizes to fit a multitude of needs. Whether it be from asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or its unique utility for barter and trade, the Prepper Bar makes a perfect gift for all the precious metal lovers out there. Exclusively made here in the USA and selling out fast. Available in both gold and silver, these slim Prepper Bars fit neatly in your wallet, and their utility enables use in any situation.
Forged through rigorous training and honed by the finest instructors on Earth, these K9 units serve beside our nation's warriors as they fight to preserve what we cherish. When these warriors complete their duty, the Warrior Dog Foundation provides them with a home deserving of the service they've given us all. At our state-of-the-art kennels, they receive rehabilitation and care suitable for heroes, because that's what they are. Be a part of giving them a future today. Visit warriordogfoundation.org.